All right. So I got a 1920 by 1080 composition that I made, and I'm going to need two compositions to do this, but I got that, and then we will put, I'm just going to draw some shapes. Actually, let's add a control key, new. I'm going to put a solid in here, just give it a different color. I get tired of looking at the same colors over and over again. So, do a little warm yellow. All right. And then I'm just going to, with my rectangle tool, I'm just going to draw a shape, kind of center it up. And I am going to set my center points on this. So if I hold my control key down, click on the shape, go down to my transform options, I can center the anchor point right in the layer content. So this will be fake knife 1. And we'll just sort of move that over here, and then I'm just going to duplicate this shape a few times. So select it down here in my timeline, Command D on my keyboard. Let me do that, Command D, Command D, Command D last time. So we'll do, I'm going to pull it out to about here. And then I'm just going to grab these all and go up to my line panel and distribute those all evenly. All right, so we got those all out. So I got these blue shapes, and I'm going to actually put these into, this is what I'm going to animate in a loop. So I'm going to create a composition out of all these. So if I select all of these shapes and come down here and control click, I can pre-compose those. And it'll combine them all into a single composition. There we go. So now it's just one item. So pre-compose those. And I'm still working with 10-second compositions. So, all right, so we got that composition. Now we're going to go to our, and I'm using a standard workspace, and effects and presets fall over here. And you can easily find a preset or an effect by just going to the search bar and typing its name. So offset. And what I want to do is grab that, and I'm just going to drag it. I can either drag it straight onto the composition in my composition panel, or I can drag it onto the item down in my timeline, either one. Do that. All right. And then you should have this effect controls up here on the left-hand side. Do we have it? We good? All right. So I'm working with 1920 by 1080 compositions here, so there's nothing really all that crazy about it. But so with this selected, I'm going to start with my playhead. What did I do? Stretch him back out. All right. Playhead at the very beginning at 0. And I'm going to shift the center. Remember, it's 1920 by 1080, so I'm going to go to 0, start off there. It shifts everything. And then I want to set a keyframe for that. And if I open up my layer down here, the effects, I can see that keyframe down here. There we go. All right, and then I'm going to come out to 2 seconds. Bring my playhead out to 2 seconds. And remember, 1920 is the length of is the width of my pre-comp here, my dashes. So I'm just going to go back up here to where I set 0 before, and I'm just going to type 1920. And it shouldn't look like it changed. So now if you go back to beginning and just play through that 2 seconds, it should do that. Did it do it? No? Oh, you went the other way? It works the same way. Although the other way, the dimension is 1080 is the only difference. So where I put 1920, you'll actually want to put 1080 if we're going to make it loop seamlessly. All right, so we got that moving from left to right. Now we've got to have it continue. So this is where we do need to, I think, come down here. Actually, we could probably do it up here. I haven't tried to before. Okay, so down here in our timeline, then we need to option click on our stopwatch, hold down the option key and click on it to open our expression panel. And once I've got that open, we're just going to remove what's in there and type loop out, L-O-O-P, and select loop out. And we want it to continue. I'm going to do continue. So within the parentheses, I'm going to hit the single quote and select continue. All right. And now when we play this, it should just keep going. So when it gets to the very end of the composition, if I want it to start over, loop seamlessly from beginning to end, again, this is a 10-second composition, 2 seconds is kind of where I need to be. But if I don't care that it loops out at the end of the composition, I could adjust this really any way I needed to. I mean, if I need to slow this way down, I could pull this out to 4 seconds maybe. That'll slow it up. So do I want to do it again? Were you able to follow it from beginning to end? You know, here's kind of a cool thing too, though. I could take this composition and duplicate it, open up that effect, and take this back to 2 maybe. Stop. Slide this down. The exact same animation, I just changed the duration on the looping portion. So let's see what's really happening here. I want to open this pre-comp up here real quick, and I'm going to change. Actually, let's change this to red. Blue. This guy will be green. Orange, and what color did I not use yet? And blue. And we'll make it pink or purple. Now I'll go back here. So, and it is looping correctly, so. But those are a couple of, that's, I mean, you know, we can loop the background, we can loop backgrounds for our animations so that they play continuously all the way through, but a lot of times we'll have individual elements that we really just want to move a certain way, like I've got a bumblebee project or exercise that we can do where we can animate the bumblebee, but we can also animate the wings, and we loop the wings whenever they, you know, the wings flapping as we work our way through it. So, do I need to do any of that again? Anybody need to see a part of it again? So, you know, those are basics of looping images. Just, you know, always just kind of try to remember the fact that knowing how long your overall composition is, in both, or the width of your composition, so if it's 1920 wide, keeping that in mind, as well as the length of it, the duration of it. Because if I got a 30-second animation, any of my loops have to be divisible by 30. So 30 is easier to work with. I can do 5, I can do 3, 2, yeah, I can do 2, 3, 5, 6, 10, and 15. So a lot more options than I had with 10 seconds, but we could probably actually, if we went into fractions of a second, you know, we could go to 2 and go down to 1 second if we wanted, but anyway, that's kind of how we loop elements. So, and a very light introduction into expressions within After Effects. All right. So, if nobody has any questions about that, it is 7 o'clock, so you can take the balance of class to work on your scripts. Also, your other, you know, your lists and your mind maps as well. We'll take a look at mind maps on Thursday. You'll all have them done. You'll probably work on your scripts, but just interested to see what everybody kind of does. It's more of an interest thing than anything else. So, but yeah, so. See ya.
You have a nice day.
Yep, you too. Yeah.
Can you listen to music during open that?
Say that?
Can you listen to music during open that?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Put your headphones on.